We got Proctor.
Nearly
Geese up.
$70,000 a month in taxpayer money. That's how much the Massachusetts State Police spends to track troopers on the road. The
GPS
system is supposed to boost transparency and
Proctor's
accountability.
GPS,
but
man.
25 investigators found it can be defeated with the flip of a switch. Here's investigative reporter Ted Daniel.
We begin this story with a name you're likely familiar with. Michael
Yes,
Proctor.
we're familiar with
He's
it.
the former state police detective fired for conduct revealed in Karen Reed's first trial. I started looking into state police GPS tracking after learning how Proctor stayed off the radar with his. Michael Proctor
He
was
went
fired for his
partying
texts
with,
about Karen Reed, and for what he did on an overtime shift where he was making time and a half.
You also investigated Michael Proctor for this allegation of drinking on duty, correct?
I did.
Proctor and Canton Police Detective Kevin Albert drove to the Cape in Proctor's unmarked cruiser. While investigating a cold case, they stopped for cold beers at Treehouse Brewery in Sandwich, and then dinner and more drinks at a restaurant in Hanover on the way home. Proctor's cruiser was equipped with a hardwired GPS tracker. State police began installing the devices in all of their vehicles in 2019.
He was shutting his tracker off.
The initial cost, $225,000.
So I believe that this is an important step forward for the department, an important resource for the department.
Then Colonel Christopher Mason touted it as an accountability tool, following the overtime fraud scandal that rocked the agency in 2018.
So we'll now have the ability to track historical time and attendance.
25 Investigates filed a public records request for Proctor's GPS data on the day he went to the Cape with Kevin Albert. If you go by the report, Proctor drove a total of 8 seconds that day and never left his hometown of Canton. The rest
Soon as he probably left his driveway, shut it off.
Correct.
Michael, would you like to make any
Debidemo, maybe mukalto. Punniwalos, na debidem na. She's gonna dump you soon.
You can't shut your radio off, so why would you
guarantee
shut that off?
Dennis Galvin is a retired state police major and president of the Massachusetts Association for Professional Law Enforcement. There are roughly 3,000 state police vehicles with
3,000.
GPS locators on the road. 25 Investigates found 418 of them have a kill switch.
418 of
An
them.
agency spokesperson says tracking can only be disabled with a supervisor's permission, and only in sensitive investigations where location data can put people at risk. We asked Galvin about that.
You could wind up disclosing information about critical witnesses or even informants and things like that. And those are things that it would be in the department's interest to make sure that weren't available.
But the switch can be abused. A state police internal affairs report from 2021 says then Trooper Dwayne Correa had his gun out of his unmarked cruiser following a night of drinks. The report says Correa disabled his tracker to conceal his whereabouts from his supervisors.
I think there's a management obligation here to make sure that there's
somebody stole a gun. Basically, come on, not a six, put it on.
List of all the vehicles were
Oh, yeah, I
tracked
mean,
and
I
shut
gonna kick,
off,
nigga.
calling it detrimental to the security and safety of uniformed members. A state police spokesperson tells me newly appointed
every other day now to go a Proctor his text messages or something, his phone reveals new information every other day, man.
And witnesses.
Who would have thought we're still talking about the Karen Reed situation this long after?
For 25 Investigates, I'm Ted Daniel.